listeners. You are listening to a sleepless cinematic discussion about May, December, and the Oscar nominations this year more broadly. And this is, a bit of a lower stakes talk for us. It's going to be a little more casual, but still structured in the right ways. Okay, so it makes sense that we want to talk about Oscar nominations right now because the awards are approaching and because we are discussing unique Best Picture winners as our current episode cycle.
Yeah, this is kind of a one-off. We're doing this just as an opportunity to maybe talk about something a little bit more current and see where a conversation about the Oscar Best Picture winners will take us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's high time to be discussing this topic given its relevance, but also, maybe we should clarify why May, December? What is it about this movie that makes it really great for this kind of discussion?
Yeah. I know that there's one reason
there's
why.
one reason.
There's one reason,
obvious.
which is that I am notorious amongst this trio for not staying on top of current films. But this is one that I actually found a little bit of time to see.
Yeah.
And so I am actually ready to have a conversation about this. But I think to go a little further into the point that you were just making, I think this is a movie that when it was released, I think there was a little more of a sense that it was going to be a player in the Oscars. And I think when the nominations came out, I think it was proven quite wrong. This movie, I think, only has one nomination. Right?
Yeah, for Best Original Screenplay, which if it's going to get just one, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Not the only one I personally would give it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
But and we'll get a little more into that in time. I mean, it's fitting for us to talk about this movie, too, because it is directed by Todd Haynes, who directed Safe, which we've discussed previously.
Yeah,
that's
right.
what
I was going to say. Is that to me seems like maybe the more obvious reason why we would talk about it, and maybe part of what motivated you to actually see it at the time.
Absolutely.
That and it was accessible on Netflix.
That's one of the reasons. Yes.
Always love an accessible film. But yeah, the fact that we had recently talked about another Todd Haynes' movies that we all really enjoyed. I think we ended that discussion saying like, oh, we are so pumped for May, December.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, I think rightfully so. I think we all really enjoyed that one, too.
You're talking about May, December?
May, December, yes.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, this is a funky movie, man. I felt a lot of things watching this movie.
I did, too. Yeah. And, I mean, I remember seeing a trailer for it before it came out where there was a critic's quote in the trailer that said something like, makes you feel one thing and then something completely different in the next scene.
Yeah.
And for a movie that, it's a pretty, it's not a particularly bombastic movie. It's like, there's something pretty even keel about it in its volume, for lack of better term. But
most of the time.
I
would say that the score definitely interjects very strongly in certain moments. But I totally agree with you that from a sense of how it's written and what people are saying to one another, it feels very matter of fact.
Yeah.
It feels very lived in, to be honest, especially considering the subject matter, which I think is one of the great strengths. You were saying
absolutely
having it be nominated for Best Original Screenplay makes sense.
Yeah.
I totally see that, whether it's a combination of the words itself or the acting or together, it really comes together in a fascinating way. When you watch this.
And I do absolutely agree with, I can't remember what critic said that quote, but I do agree that while watching it, I was feeling one thing in one scene and then, another scene would come along and, without hardly ever any flair, completely upend my prior expectations.
Totally.
Just because this is by its nature a shorter discussion, we're not going to get in depth in this the way that we normally would in a main episode. But I was really struck by how much my sympathies were shifting throughout this movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that each of the characters, I think, of the three most prominent characters, those being the ones played by Julianne Moore, Natalie Portman, and Charles Melton.
Elizabeth, Gracie, and Joe.
Elizabeth, Gracie, and Joe.
Yeah.
Each of them, it was not really a straight line in how I felt about any of them throughout the movie.
Yeah, they're all sympathetic characters in some ways, but they're all complicated in other ways.
Yeah. Though I would say at the end of the movie, the one who I felt the most uniformly sympathetic for was Joe.
I think that was the case for me through the whole movie.
I definitely feel
from the beginning.
Yeah, I think the movie is kind of I think it ultimately is his movie.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who has, I think, the largest arc. The Gracie character freely admits that by the end of this film, she is still very naive, and she revels in the fact, or maybe not revels, but she finds a lot of security in living with a certain amount of ignorance and naivete.
Yeah.
So yes, she hasn't done a whole lot of changing.
Yeah.
You could make an argument that Elizabeth, a Natalie Portman character, the actress, also, it's questionable whether she's really changed.
Yeah.
If anything, if she's changed it at all,
maybe
some
for
of
the
what
worse.
was some of what brought her there, some of her curiosities have just deepened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, like, over the course of the movie, even though there's this back and forth of viewer sympathies, I mean, you do get the sense that these are full-bodied characters.
I'd say so for sure.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But yeah, just like as it goes along, you know, you have these ebbs and flows of appreciation for Gracie and Elizabeth. But I think, yeah, for Joe, I was pretty, you know, with maybe a few blips along the way, I was pretty solidly on his side throughout.
The other character who I was surprised I was feeling stuff was for Georgie, who I believe is Gracie's oldest son.
Yes.
With her previous marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his scenes are pretty fascinating.
Totally.
It's kind of the skeleton key of the movie.
I really like him a lot. Like when they first walk into the restaurant or wherever where he's playing on stage, before they reveal that it's Georgie, but they shoot over to a shot of the band on stage with him singing, I was like, that guy is somebody. I was like, that we're gonna see that guy.
Yes,
he's like, there's no way he's just the singer and the band that's playing at the bar. Like he's pretty magnetic, I think, from the moment he comes on screen.
One of the things I will say is that for how well this movie is written, I think they set him up to be an unlikable guy.
Yeah, he's a little snake.
In a little bit of a heavy-handed way.
Yeah.
I am a little bit surprised that he is in a band, in a working band, behaving that way on stage.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that coastal town, wherever they're at, has at least another couple bands that are or lower maintenance than that guy is.
Yeah.
You know, his character is meant to display some of his maybe Arrested Development.
Yeah,
maybe some of his.
He's the
his
collateral
anger.
damage, I think. Of which there is much.
Yeah.
But he's I think the most apparent collateral damage from the relationship between Gracie and Joe.
Yeah, well, not of Joe, of her husband,
of her previous
before Joe.
husband. Yeah.
I that's not what I'm saying. So what I was trying to say is not that he is their son, but he is damaged directly by their relationship.
I got you.
Is what I'm trying to say.
By the end of the previous relationship and the beginning of the new one.
I mean the beginning of the new one. Like he was in school with Joe.
Yeah, right,
so,
right.
Like,
they were friends or something.
They were. It seemed like they were not close friends,
friendly?
but they were maybe like friendly acquaintances.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like it's pretty dark subject matter. But you're 13, and your mother has an affair with your classmate. Like, of course, like he would be messed up in a way that I think no one else in this movie would be messed up in that particular way.
I want to follow that thread, because I was interested in the other children, Gracie and Joe's other kids.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think of them?
Yeah, because it seems like they've kind of like ostracized Gracie, kind of like almost like I feel like that's maybe the wrong word for it. There's clearly like a wedge between like in this relationship.
So are you talking about the other children that she has with Tom?
Other older children. Like Georgie and the older children have a wedge between Gracie and Joe and their younger children. They feel like two completely separate families.
Right, absolutely, yeah. And in fact, later in the movie, when they show
all
up at the
together
same
in one restaurant.
Exactly. When they show up at the restaurant, they make mention of the fact that they're going to pass like ships in the night and then separate. Mm-hmm. I'm actually talking about their younger
kids.
Yeah.
I'm slightly curious because I couldn't tell if I liked their characterizations or if I felt like they were underwritten.
Well, the only one who really I vividly remember, just for context, I wasn't able to get a rewatch in before we discussed this.
Yeah, me either, which is why I'm like kind of grasping at details because I saw it 3 months ago.
Yeah, but the one who I most vividly remember is Charlie, who is the son who, sits on the rooftop with Joe.
That's
incredible
such
casting,
a
by the way.
good scene. And great casting. And I mean, maybe my favorite scene of the movie.
I think so, too.
And I think really, really excellent performance in that scene from Charles Melton.
Yeah.
I mean, also from Gabriel Chung, who plays Charlie, but that's maybe my favorite Joe scene as well.
Yeah. And my sense of the characterization of Charlie there alongside Joe is that though they are father and son, I mean, they felt very level in that scene.
Absolutely.
Not just in that they're sitting on the same surface physically, but that they just felt like, experiencing very similar struggles.
They also, I mean, they feel like peers. And I think one of the reasons for that is that Joe is so stunted in the age he was when he began his relationship with Gracie, which is, I think, like kind of one of the main themes of the film.
Yeah.
And so if he did not experience a lot of the experiences that average teenagers have because he was having a relationship with an adult woman and like also raising a child extremely young.
I just feel like with those kids, and I don't know if this is necessarily something that I felt in their performances or if it's something I'm imprinting on them. I just feel like something really terrible, like a lot of trauma is just under the surface.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like, unfortunately, they feel a little bit like children of alcoholics, where they do a lot of soothing and trying to placate their parents and trying to keep everything on an even keel, managing, I guess, their childhoods with such a strange and strained relationship with their parents.
Right.
And their parents also having a strained relationship with each other that we kind of see evolve throughout the film. And these kids have been also witnessing this.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say the word evolve too, because one of the characterization details of Joe is that he has this fascination with monarch butterflies.
Yeah, the chrysalis.
Yes, chrysalis, chrysali, however you say the plural. So he's just, he's taking care of these monarch butterflies throughout the movie. And I mean, it's a pretty transparent allegory of evolution that you get from seeing their chrysalises evolve. And, and it's meant to mirror Joe's development.
Of course. Or like a hope.
Or
that he might have.
Yeah.
If he kind of stares at it long enough, that maybe something will happen for him too.
Yes.
There'll be some kind of growth that happens for him in his life.
And just as an anecdote too, I mean, like I saw this movie around when we recorded our conversation about The Silence of the Lambs. And I mean, I had to think about it, like Buffalo Bill taking care of the death's head moths.
Oh, geez, yeah.
While seeing all those images of the monarch butterflies. But
let's certainly hope that Joe isn't living a double life.
Well, I mean, he kind of is.
Oh, he is.
Not a Buffalo Bill kind of double life.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know of, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe we want to get a little more into that now that as the plot line of the movie is progressing, and really the driving force of the plot is that Natalie Portman's character, Elizabeth, is an actress researching Gracie and her family to portray Gracie in a movie.
Yeah.
And that, that's really what gives the story its shape. And that as all this is going on, like we are seeing as viewers, we are seeing Joe go through a test of his loyalty to Gracie.
And sort of a reckoning. It's like this actress coming in to research is really putting a mirror up to his life. And he's starting to, I think, have to really come to terms with the realities of what's happened to him and to Gracie and what their relationship is like. And then maybe what's going to happen next. I mean, this movie is situated rather conveniently. There's this kind of crossroads. Obviously, yes, the actress is coming into town. That's kind of shaking things up a little bit because she's sort of knocking on doors and sort of digging up stuff, asking questions,
digging up the past.
But it's also their youngest children's high school graduation.
Yeah, so they're about to be empty nesters, and he's what, 33? Like something like that, like
36, maybe.
Yeah.
In that, the Elizabeth character says something or alludes to it, and you're like, we're basically the same age. Which is like definitely there to, I think, cover two bases. One, to cue us into how truly young he is, but I think also, to your point, Julian, demonstrate that she is giving him some vibes.
Oh yeah, totally. They're definitely attracted to each other. And I think, as you said, that starts to, I think he's begun to question his loyalty to Gracie outside of his relationship, even with Elizabeth. Like, we see him, as you were, I think, going to get to, having this like kind of online relationship with this other person interested in the evolution of monarch butterflies.
Right. Yeah.
And they've been doing some like light text flirting. But that seems to not really go anywhere. Like, he kind of proposes something to this person, who's like, I thought you were married. And I don't think we see them interact again after that.
Yeah. It's very subtle. It kind of happens and then it just never gets talked about again.
Yeah. So then I think his growing relationship with Elizabeth is like, well, here, I was starting to kind of stray emotionally, and here's this other like young person, actually my age, attractive, famous lady who also like seems interested in me and maybe has some like eerie similarities to my wife.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I had a question for you guys really quick before we move on. Who do you think would be an appropriate comp for the actress of Elizabeth in the reality of the film? Like, what would be a comp in our reality? Because, okay, so it seems like this Elizabeth actress, she's been
like
in
a TV actress.
Yeah, and she's been in some apparently successful stuff. But I can't tell if it's like she's in a career lull or if she is slumming it a little bit because this is more of a passion project. Like, she's taken it on because she's developed a real interest or morbid curiosity in trying to pull this off.
Yeah,
and I'm wondering,
I interpreted her as being a very successful TV actress who this is her chance to finally break into the movies.
So maybe like a pre-Prince Harry, Meghan Markle?
Yeah, that seems like maybe a good analog.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were chomping at the bit to say something.
Well, I was thinking less about a specific person, but more about a broader circumstance. And this is actually, I mean, it does have to do with TV, but it's kind of prestige TV. Are you both aware of the series The Staircase?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I watched the documentary version of that story.
Because I haven't seen the documentary or the dramatic version from a few years ago, but I did see this movie called Subject that showed at the IFC Center in November, which is it's a documentary specifically about people who are treated as subjects in documentaries.
Interesting.
And there's one person who's shown in that movie, Margie Ratliff, who is one of the children of the Staircase couple.
Oh.
And that she spoke about when the HBO series was made a few years ago, that I think Sophie Turner, who played her, requested to speak with her for the role, and she emphatically refused the opportunity, saying that her trauma was going to be profited on.
Interesting.
I think that Sophie Turner might be a good analog for this also, just because, I mean, she was in such a widely successful television show and then kind of started to break into film. I think that maybe Sophie Turner at the height of Game of Thrones was way more famous than I think Elizabeth seems to be, but that's another one that I think could make sense.
Yeah.
I was going to say, or one of the strengths I think of this movie is that I actually think that the person in our kind of real world actress that would kind of fit this is actually Natalie Portman.
I was curious if that was just the answer you were looking for.
I actually think they totally nailed it. Did you guys see the movie Lucy in the Sky?
No,
I did not.
Okay.
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, okay. So I've seen parts of it. It literally feels like a soft version of some of what's going on in May December.
Okay.
In that it's a woman who suddenly becomes very delusional based on something that happens to her in her life. And her life slowly starts to unravel because she cannot escape this delusion. And for me, I can't help but think that the actress Natalie Portman was curious about portraying a character who has a grasp on reality that is just slipping through her fingers. And I feel like her trying to portray a woman who is essentially a pedophile and but is also a delusional, naive pedophile. I totally see it. I think it's incredibly good casting.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's also the fact that this film is based loosely on actual events.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, Julianne Moore is also like kind of the Elizabeth in this situation. And that like she is portraying a person not directly, but like she is portraying a character that is loosely based on a real person.
Yeah. And I think the levels of abstraction here are very fascinating to think about.
Like the way that this movie really interrogates viewer desires. I mean, I have to note, too, that I've noticed a very interesting preponderance of that kind of movie lately in the general film landscape. And I'll name some other examples in a moment. That, this is a movie that really, I think, is about the way people watch movies.
Oh, I'm with you on that.
Like, I mean, the first time I ever heard someone use that kind of expression was my college film history teacher talking about Hitchcock's Rear Window as a movie about how we watch movies. That's really getting at the desires that we go into this with, a sort of how the other half lives.
That there's like a voyeuristic aspect to watching films that it's undeniable, like whether we want to admit it or not. I think it's there. It's very much there.
And that, Natalie Portman's Elizabeth character, I mean, part of how my sympathies for her evolved throughout the movie was that at some points I felt that she seemed pretty empathetic towards, the people she was researching. And at other points, I felt like she was kind of exploitative.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I think the movie definitely shows her as somebody who has the ability to be two-faced.
Yeah, she's a little manipulative.
Extraordinarily so.
So much of what we see that I think could be seen as sympathetic in that, like, if you are like Jo, for example, and kind of seeing her being very kind to your family and wanting to really to say all these words about how, I want to get the story right. I like want to make sure you guys have a say in this. It's like, it definitely feels like nice words that are maybe, the more we learn about Elizabeth, empty and just meant to earn their trust.
To that point, I think in that scene where they're in the restaurant, I made a quick little note here that when she's talking to Honor, who's Gracie and Joe's oldest daughter, the one who comes back from college, Honor, she expresses a lot of distrust in her. And she says, I understand how you'd feel that way. And she says, I hope you feel that this movie has something to say and that it captures something true.
Yeah.
About 45 seconds later, one of Gracie's other children from her previous relationship comes in and kind of hangs around a little bit and says, I really loved you in Noah's Ark. And then she says in just the most bland way, she's like, oh, thank you. That means the world. And I think it's sort of meant to be a representation of that duality in her character.
Oh, yeah.
That she's on one hand, I think has some empathy there, but is also completely ready to say whatever she feels like she needs to in order to get people around her to bend to her will.
Totally.
Yeah. The other scene where I felt that way about her was earlier in the movie when she goes to the pet store. Yeah, and it's that's a scene that begins feeling kind of sincere. Where she's
it feels like research at first.
Yeah, it feels like research. Like she's just kind of seeing where did this all happen, and then she actually gets back into the corner where this, what at the time was an affair supposedly began,
was found. They found,
or they were discovered.
Yeah,
and just goes there and starts rehearsing a fake orgasm.
Yeah. It's a total if you give a mouse a cookie moment.
Oh yeah,
she's
totally.
like, and can you take me to the back room? And you can see the guys like,
oh no,
I can't believe
what am I getting myself into?
That actually brings me to another quick point that I did want to get out here really quick, which is Elizabeth goes around to several people in the orbit of Gracie and Jo and starts asking questions. And I'm always surprised by how people are willing to open up to her about clearly very painful things. And I'm wondering, for you guys, do we really think that movies offer a promise to better and or more favorably recontextualize something like this? Is that something that a movie can honestly do? Or is there something like inherent about a movie, even some movie that is independently produced, like this one ostensibly is, that more often than not is just going to sensationalize or fetishize the crime itself. It made me think a lot about what Truffaut says about how every film about war ends up being a pro-war movie. You know, this idea that it's impossible to show war without sensationalizing it or making it look sexy in some way.
Yeah.
And like gangster movies too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Gangster
totally.
movies as well.
I mean, Julian, you were talking about Subject, which is not a documentary that I've seen, but I saw the trailer at IFC, and it explores this kind of concept directly.
Specifically about documentaries, but you know, it focuses on a specific group of people who have all been the so-called subjects of documentaries and have had their stories, often traumatic ones, publicized. But you know, there's some validation there. But there is a dark side to it as well, that this is all that some of those people are ever known for.
Yeah, exactly.
And that they can't ever be anonymous again.
Yeah, you Google these people, and that's the first thing and possibly only thing that you find. And it's like the productions, whether it be a documentary or a narrative film.
Yeah, which this one would be.
One would be a narrative film. It's like the production is not going to supply any amount of like safety for the people whose lives are being portrayed on screen. I mean, even before this fictional film is being released, this has already been highly publicized. They're already receiving like dog shit in the mail.
Yeah.
So like, you know, put it at cons or whatever, and like these people, I mean, they're gonna have to like go into hiding, and the production is not gonna care. The production is like, Elizabeth will not be there,
absolutely not,
to say anything.
Yeah. I mean, you know, knowing how sincere Todd Haynes is, I'm glad that this kind of movie is in his hands.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think uniquely, I don't think that May December claims to answer that question that you posed, Emilio, but I think it really does a great job at pondering the nature of that subject.
I was just going to say, I definitely don't think it gives you an answer, but it certainly
raises the question.
It poses the question and definitely has you, the viewer, wrestle with it for a bit.
Yeah. You said the name of her show, which I had forgotten, which was Nora's Ark, right?
Yeah.
Which is funny. And that makes me think an answer to your previous question about who is this is I'm going to say Amber Tamblyn because of Joan of Arcadia.
Okay.
I just think because of that particular comparison.
I like that. I think that's good. That's a good answer for that for sure.
Yeah.
Are there any last things that we want to say maybe about this?
There's a few other things I could say. I mean, you know, in talking it's actually a pretty good culmination of what we've talked about. The last scene of May December, when you like after all has been said and done, and you realize that this movie that Elizabeth is filming is a pretty crappy movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It looks very, very low budget.
And maybe she's not a very good actress.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting actually, and I think one of the brilliant things about that scene is we're trying to figure out, is she trying to be more like Gracie, or is she trying to make this seem more sexual? Is she like what's going on there? But I think that you could read it either way.
Yeah,
and
totally.
The movie kind of just ends after that in like a deliberately unresolved sort of way. Like a
sharp ending.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's something else. Maybe I'm thinking of the ending of The Sopranos. Yeah. In the way that it ends. It leaves it ambiguous, compellingly so.
Yeah, much like Safe.
Much like Safe, yeah. Although I might argue that Safe has a little more like concrete closure. Or no, actually, no, never mind. It's kind of the same.
It's similar. Yeah. I mean, I think Todd Haynes is, this coming from the fact that I've really only seen a few of his movies, but I think I'm ready to say that he is masterful at creating movies that have multiple interpretations.
Totally. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Carol has maybe the most like satisfying ending that has closure of the films of his that I've seen. But
I would agree.
But that's another movie, interestingly enough, that is like the main couple in the movie has a fairly large age gap.
I got to see that. I remember you were like, this is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, now it's too late. Yeah, now you got to wait until December.
Well, those or to May.
Or to May.
I should note that when I did see May December, it was in December.
I think I did too. Yeah, because that's when it came out.
I think I also saw it in December.
Yeah,
I saw it pretty soon after it hit Netflix.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we're talking about Todd Haynes, but to give credit where it's due, I mean, the screenplay is written by Sammy Birch, and the stories by Birch along with Alex Mechanic. So, I mean, it's Todd Haynes' genius coupled with theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're the ones nominated for the Oscar because it's Best Original Screenplay.
We were saying earlier that we feel like there could have been some other nominations for this film.
Yeah, I think... Well,
No, you go ahead. I was just going to ask, like...
If any other one that I think should have to be there, Charles Melton for supporting actor.
That is one that I think has been going around a lot as far as like after the nominations came out. That was, I think, someone that a lot of people were hoping for and someone that I would have supported because I think he's really, really great in this.
He's fantastic.
It is a tough year for supporting actor.
Yeah.
That is a big category this year.
Though I have a feeling I know who's going to win that one. And we'll get into that in a second.
Perhaps.
But yeah,
I mean, I agree that I would have absolutely respected and been really, really, quite frankly, ecstatic about a Charles Melton supporting actor nom. But I will also say I'm not super surprised he didn't get it because it's just it is a tough race.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, geez,
it's a tough race. And also, I mean, earlier or I guess last week technically, I was listening. I mean, I always am listening to Mark Maron's WTF, but specifically, there's this bonus content that happens on that show where his producer Brendan and their friend Chris Lopresto, they just call it the Friday show. Mark's not on it. They just kind of have more of an open forum Friday show. And they were talking about Oscar nominees and snubs for this current year. And they specifically mentioned May, December, and they were wondering why did that get under-nominated? And they were thinking that it's a movie where the Academy kind of saw themselves in it. And they were a little scared to admit it.
I definitely could see that. Although it's funny, I do feel like the Academy has not shied away from celebrating or awarding portrayals of actors, even challenging ones, in the past. So
and don't get me wrong, there are some movies nominated this year that are genuinely challenging. And to actually expand on my earlier point about current movies that interrogate the viewer, a few of them are on this list of Best Picture nominees.
Maybe a great way to start talking about
them. Into that.
Yeah, otherwise heavily nominated movies. And so some of those movies on my list are Anatomy of a Fall, The Zone of Interest, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Oppenheimer.
All nominated for Best Picture.
Yes.
And American Fiction, also nominated. Mm-hmm. Some ones that didn't get the Best Picture or really any Oscars love, but I think also do this, are David Fincher's The Killer, Dream Scenario.
Oh, yeah, Dream Scenario.
Yeah, and All of Us Strangers. All great movies in their own right, but got no Oscars love this year. And I think that some of us have seen these things, some of us not. But, I mean, for some of these movies, I mean, you don't have to know that much to know that this is something bold and that, especially in its relationship to the viewer. I think probably in the most on-the-nose way, I mean, I would say probably the most saliently Killers of the Flower Moon, for someone who hasn't seen it, is that kind of movie. I don't know if either of you would agree.
This is my moment to say that I have seen a staggeringly low number of these Best Picture nominees. Yeah. So you're going to hear me be very quiet for the duration of this podcast, but I'm interested a little bit in that because I can understand, just from my knowledge of the films, or a number of the films that you mentioned, just from hearing about them and reading about them, that movies like American Fiction or Dream Scenario, or I might even put a movie like Barbie,
honestly,
has a pretty strong understanding or a strong consideration in how the audience is watching and perceiving and understanding what's on screen. But Killers of the Flower Moon, actually, I don't think, based on my limited knowledge of what's going on in that movie, that I would immediately think, oh yeah, that's a movie that is interrogating
the viewer
in the way that you described earlier. Okay. So I'm curious to hear that.
I think that there are a couple of specific scenes from that movie that I wouldn't really want to spoil for you or anyone listening, that I do think support your point.
Yeah.
I think the closing scene supports your point very strongly.
Right. Yeah. And it's, yes, the closing scene, but also, there's a lot of scenes way, way earlier that I think get to that point too. But you know,
I just got to see this movie, man.
Yeah,
you
do you have 3.5 hours?
Yeah.
Well, if you have someone snore the whole time, then it will mirror my own experience watching this movie, which I think I've told you guys, but I'm not said on mic, which is that I saw Killers of the Flower Moon a few months ago in theaters. And as you all know, this is a long ass movie. It's like 3.5 hour movie. I get into the theater and I'm sitting 2 seats over from a very elderly man in like a veteran's cap with an oxygen tank with him. Like he is quite old. He gets very angry during the previews. Like the preview for Ferrari, he was just like arguing with the screen the whole time. I couldn't really understand what he was saying. He was like very mad at the portrayal of Adam Driver's portrayal of Mr. Ferrari, I guess. And he would like repeat lines back and then like
was he trying to say like I have a better Italian accent?
I don't think so. I have no idea what this man's problem was, but literally by the end of the previews, he is asleep. And he snores the entire movie. And to the point that my partner, who will henceforth on this podcast be known as Dougie, actually did get up and go get somebody and was like, this man is asleep and he is snoring so loudly through this movie. And they actually did send a person in. Thank you to AMC for sending someone in to wake up this man. It helped for 10 minutes and then he fell back asleep. And at that point, we're like, does someone else want to do something? Like, we've already tried.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shake this man awake. We're not going to go get a person again because we already did it once. Does anyone else want to help? No. So I enjoyed the movie a lot. I think it's great, but I actually am going to need to rewatch it because I don't think I can fully appreciate a film when you have a 90-year-old man snoring the whole time.
It's such a bummer because,
huge bummer.
Yeah, you wish that you could just go to him and just nudge him and be like, hey, hello, sir. I just want to say thank you for your service, but can you please go somewhere else to sleep?
Yeah. It's
oh man. Well, I don't.
Yeah. But getting back to the movies themselves, I mean, one interesting observation I had just now about these more viewer interrogative movies that are nominated for Best Picture is that a lot of these movies are about some pretty macabre things, like Anatomy of a Fall, Zone of Interest, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer. I mean, people die in all of those movies.
And
to
lots of people die in a lot of
to
movies.
say the least. I mean, there's just like, these are all movies that depict and exist around atrocities, or if not atrocities specifically, just
potentially criminal tragedies.
Yes, potentially criminal tragedies. You know what I'm getting at there.
Yes, yeah, I do.
Yeah, and May December is a movie that points just as much as the viewer as many of these other things do, but it's not really about that. It's about a subject matter that is, I mean, for everything that is fascinating about it, it's less, I guess, sensational.
Yeah.
The victims of May December really just are going to have therapy bills and not hospital visits.
Or, they're not going to be dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they'll be dead eventually.
Well,
as will we all.
We all die someday, I
guess.
guess.
But not by the hands of
an atomic bomb.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully not. But but so
mutually assured destruction.
Yeah. And then, and I mean, it's not like these movies that depict macabre subject matter are the only things of that sort that existed in 2023. There's plenty of movies that had that kind of subject matter and pointed at the viewer that were not nominated. Most notably, I think David Fincher's The Killer, which I think is very much in that category too. But and I think we all would have expected May December to be like a very obvious contender for Best Picture. It was a contender for the Palme d'Or at Cannes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, for what it's worth, it's already been said, but it's a tough race this year.
That's the thing. It's like, I know that there's a lot of conversation right now about snubs, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit, and we'll get into things that we would have been like our personal picks. But you look at this list of Best Picture nominees, and it's like, well, what are you going to bump? And I think that's ultimately the question in any of these categories when you're talking about snubs is like, well, what would you have not put on this list in order to put May December on this list? And it's like, I haven't seen all of these. I've seen more than Emilio, but less than Julian, you've seen all of them.
All the Best Picture nominees.
I've seen 6 of the 10.
Okay.
And I can't necessarily in good faith bump any of them except maybe Barbie. Don't come at me, please. Like that's really, I think, the only one that I would even consider.
That would be Margot Robbie's Oscar, her only Oscar.
Yeah, she didn't get the Best Actress nod, but she did get the Best Picture nod.
Exactly.
Yes. Which is something that everybody who is complaining about Best Actress is forgetting, but yes.
But so I mean, it's a great list this year. Obviously, there's way more than 10 great movies in any given year.
I have a quibble about that. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like
you think we should have 20 Best Picture nominees.
That's exactly what. No, 40.
Yeah. 50,
the more the merrier.
Why even make a list? Every movie gets a Best Picture nominee.
There's this list that I have up on my computer that
I want participation trophies. That's what I want this to become.
Well, there's this list I have on my computer it's a Letterboxd transcription of 25 great films rejected by the Oscars in 2024 as listed by Variety. And I mean, yeah, it's a long list. Many, not all. I've seen many, not all of these movies. And
what's the top 5?
Top 5? Okay. Top 5 are 1001, The Iron Claw, Priscilla, Dream Scenario, and All of Us Strangers.
I've actually not seen any of these.
So
I know you've seen some of them.
I've seen all of those 5.
Okay.
There's others on the list I have not seen, but in 1001, I mean, that's probably the least familiar name of the bunch. But that, honestly, great movie. It should have, gotten more just general attention than it did. And I think that movie has one of the most authentic portrayals of New York that I've seen on film in a long time. Check that movie out, 1001. Very moving experience.
Could you keep going on the list until I get to one I've seen?
Okay,
I'm just curious how long this will take.
I'm going to see how long it's going to take for me.
Number 6, Origin. Memory.
You've seen Origin. Have you seen Memory?
No.
Okay, so that's the first one you haven't seen.
Yes.
Okay.
Next one, I'm confident some of us have seen this, Asteroid City.
Okay, yes, I saw that.
Yeah, which I also agreed that was great movie.
Over here.
Great movie. Should have gotten more awards love. It got a lot of attention. Should have gotten more awards
That's another
love.
one that I really would have liked to see in a few different places for Oscar nominations. And I think that part of that, I mean, maybe that movie just came out so early in the year. Like so many of these are like later in the year awards season releases. And I think something released earlier in the year actually like kind of loses traction by the time people are voting.
Past Lives, which was nominated.
Also a summer release, right?
Earlier than Asteroid City.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Weirdly, you'd think Wes Anderson gets more Oscars love than he does.
He does not get much.
He really doesn't. Yeah.
Like he deserves it, but I think only really the Grand Budapest Hotel is the movie that they've really gotten behind.
Yeah.
But some others on the list. So after that is Eileen, which I have seen, thought it was good, not great.
As I told you guys, I wanted to finally read the book before seeing the movie, and I still haven't gotten to the book, so I still haven't gotten to the movie.
Fair enough. Next on the list is Ferrari, which I've seen. I do think it's quite good.
Do not let the snoring man see this movie.
Yeah, don't let the snoring man see it. Yeah, I don't know. I personally don't think I would nominate it for Best Picture, but it's a solid Michael Mann movie. Okay, next on the list. Fair Play, haven't seen. The Killer, have seen. Saltburn. Okay, I have some feelings about Saltburn.
You have opinions, but neither of us have seen it, so we can't dive too deep into your opinion.
I can say things about it that won't spoil it.
One of these days, I will get around to that, and maybe it will be long after discourse of that movie feels fresh.
Yeah,
but I'm down to have it when I do see it.
I think Saltburn, like if that movie had been nominated for anything, that to me would have been this year's Joker.
Yeah,
as in the movie that's just vying a little too much for that kind of attention.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I just love chaos. It seems like kind of a chaotic movie, and I generally have a tendency to like movies that people feel very strongly about hating. So I'm still open to liking Saltburn, but we'll see.
Yeah.
As evidenced by the very first conversation we had.
Exactly.
Mother.
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny that comes up too, because like I mean, I don't know yet, but I honestly wonder for you, Madeline, if this might be this year's Whale for you.
Okay.
Saltburn.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. What two very different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You go either way.
Like, and to just be a little bit clearer, I don't hate Saltburn, but I think that, like that.
You can hate it if you want.
No, I don't. I genuinely don't hate it, but
I know you really only hate Crash.
There's other things I hate too, but I'm split
number
down.
one.
I'm honestly split down the middle with Saltburn. There's some things about it that I think are done well. But there's a lot about it that I find frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, continuing with this variety list. Next up is Air. Another good movie, but early in the year.
I almost started watching that movie. I wish
so
I had.
Close. You would have gotten to, what are we at? 18?
Or no, 14.
Oh God.
But then there's more that I haven't seen here.
This is just depressing. Keep going.
Cassandro, haven't seen it.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Gael Garcia Bernal plays
I love that guy.
I like him.
Wrestler or something of that sort.
Add that to the list.
God. All right. I would see that too.
Yeah. All Dirt Road's Taste of Salt.
You saw that.
Which I have seen.
Yeah, I watched the trailer.
Where do you have time to do this, Julian? I have no... I mean, I commend you, but okay. All right, continue. Just keep going.
I keep a busy schedule.
Yeah, I know. I just keep going.
But yeah, so Blackberry, haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Almost saw that too. Chose not to.
Flora and Son, which I have seen because it's on Apple TV Plus, which we all had to get for Coda. That movie, it's John Carney's most recent movie. I thought good, not great, but good. The Burial, which is this Tommy Lee Jones, Jamie Foxx legal thriller.
Yeah. On Amazon Prime or something?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Next one, now this is one that two of us have seen, Passages.
Oh, yeah.
Great
Passages
movie.
was great. I wonder what the French nomination was for international feature.
I wonder if that got a...
Because it's not here.
France didn't get one.
France is not nominated, so I'm wondering what their
selection.
Submission was.
Yeah, I wonder too.
Because if it wasn't Passages, that was a grave error. Because that was a really, really excellent film.
Yeah, very excellent, very bold movie. Lots of great things to say about that. Okay, so then we're down to the final 5 on this list.
Will we get to one?
Will we get to one that I've seen?
We'll see. Okay, Beau is Afraid. Mm-hmm. Another great movie early in the year. Kind of, it's like,
another divisive movie.
Polarizing, but the kind of polarizing movie that I really enjoyed.
I enjoyed it a lot, but when I saw that movie, after the lights came up at the end, somebody booed at the screen. So
someone who was expecting Hereditary or Midsummer.
I guess. So that I think gives you a sense of the public's opinion of this movie generally.
Yeah. So then after that, okay, this is a movie I don't even know about. Monica. Then 23 is Of an Age. Know of it. Haven't seen it. Number 24 is Polite Society. Same thing. The last one is Kelly Reichardt's film Showing Up, which I have seen.
Which you have seen, but neither of us have.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And it's... Sorry, Emilio. But,
even I
I'm
feel
just
like I
crawl
maybe
up
got
into
to
a ball
4
over here
of those,
blame, I guess blame variety.
Yeah.
But it's, from what I have seen here, even for, the one that I think is not great, all these movies I can say are worth seeing.
But I would say expedite Asteroid City.
Expedite that for sure. Yeah,
okay.
I don't know how you feel about Wes Anderson in general.
I think I'm not as hot on him as maybe the two of you guys
I'm
are.
not surprised at that, but I still think you would enjoy this movie.
I don't think he's a bad filmmaker, and I don't think he is somebody who I go into with too many preconceived notions about. There have only been, I think, 2 of his movies that I think have really landed with me on an emotional level as well as a visual level. He's got a really particular visual style that
totally.
I think is some people's cup of tea.
Yeah, it can be kind of alienating for others.
Kind of is mine, kind of isn't. I'm a little bit more of a Hal Ashby guy.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm going to bet that you would like Beau is Afraid, but
I think so.
I could lose this bet because again, I feel like this was a very polarizing movie. I think you would like it.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that Parker Posey was in that movie.
Yeah, she's great in it.
And I love Parker Posey. I'll watch anything with Parker Posey in it. So we're already the chances are a little better maybe. But I really liked Hereditary and liked only a tiny bit less than Hereditary, Midsommar.
Yeah.
I will say this movie is very different from both of those.
This is what I hear, and that's okay. I believe I am in capable hands when I'm watching an Ari Aster film. So
yes.
Anyway,
so let's
continue.
dive into these nominations. What do we think is deserved? Anything that we would not put on this list that's for Best Picture and for other categories?
So for Best Picture, well, out of curiosity, what would both of... Okay, well, maybe we know that these scales are tipped here.
It's the question for
just
me.
ask Madeline.
Okay, what is your personal pick, and what do you think will win?
So I was in the theater actively watching Poor Things, and by halfway through, I said, "This is my favorite movie of the year," and it's not even close. I am so dialed in on Yorgos Lanthimos. It's like embarrassing. He's maybe my favorite director. I love his movies so much, and Poor Things really, really worked for me.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing.
My favorite movie from this list, and I think would be a very deserving winner, is Poor Things. Hands down, no competition. What will win? Oppenheimer.
Yeah, for me, I honestly think Oppenheimer is both what I think will win and it's my personal choice, honestly.
And I think that would be my number 2. I think that is reasonable.
Yeah.
I just am very biased.
Yeah. But it's just, I think Oppenheimer is if they're going to dump Academy Awards on Christopher Nolan, this is the movie to do it with.
Totally. You've seen Oppenheimer?
I have.
Woo.
Oh, you have? Yeah.
I have. I finally watched it. And
So
it's very good. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
The Best Picture nominees, so you've seen Oppenheimer, Past Lives.
I saw Past Lives.
And Barbie.
And Barbie.
Which we talked about.
Yep, those are the 3.
Those are the 3, yes. And I like Past Lives a lot. But I think I would give the nod so far of the 3 of these 10 that I've seen to Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel like I could be very swayed. For about 2 weeks now, I've been about to watch Anatomy of a Fall and just have never pulled the trigger between editing these podcasts and being a dad and having a number of other things on my plate. It just has never happened.
I keep getting really close, and then all the screenings at Syndicated in Brooklyn keep getting sold out because I guess everybody else wants to knock this movie out. And I was gonna plan to see it there, and every time I look, it's like, oh, sorry, tickets sold out.
Oh wow, yeah. So I'm waiting for that one to hit me like a ton of bricks.
Totally.
Yeah. And I mean, without saying anything more, it will. But this honestly, I don't think there's any single Best Picture nominee that is not deserving of it this year, which is more than I can say for many years.
I totally agree with that.
This is the first time in a few years that I honestly can say that. It's like I can't honestly, I don't think I can remember the last time that there was a year when I was uniformly like, these are all great. Would be happy if any of them won. So going back, to actually speak of nominees and bring this back to May, December a bit. Best Original Screenplay. What do you think should win? What do you think will win?
I have seen 3 of these 5. I have not seen Anatomy of a Fall yet. I've not seen The Holdovers. So I've seen Maestro, May, December, and Past Lives, and I am not going to vote for Maestro. I'll tell you that right now. I liked Maestro. I did. I thought it was good.
I agree.
But it would not be my pick from this list.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go May, December with Past Lives as a really strong second. I'd be really, really thrilled with either of those.
I agree, but honestly, I think I am a little swayed more towards Past Lives.
That's fair enough. I think I really enjoyed Past Lives. I wanted to cry a little bit more. It did not. I felt like it was so close to making me cry, and it didn't quite. And that's the only reason that it's not my pick.
But I think it's great that Past Lives as a movie released both early in the year and as a debut feature. I think it's really, really great that it got the Oscars love that it has received in nominations. It kind of makes me think of Moonlight actually as a movie that's not a debut feature but a breakthrough of its director, and a movie that really when I think about it, I can't think of other movies that are organized like that one. It has a very, very unique structure and screenplay.
Definitely.
Yeah, but also Moonlight being this movie that was made in very unassuming circumstances that just rose to this great platform of Oscar nominations. That's, sort of the similarity I see there. Even though I think Past Lives had a little more conventional star power going into it. Debatably. Yeah, it's debatable. Moonlight had quite a bit of star power too. Speaking of Past Lives, another snub, I think, or we haven't really gotten into snubs yet, but one snub that stood out to me in the Best Original Song category. No Sharon Van Etten there.
Yeah, that's a real bummer. I know you and I are both big Sharon Van Etten fans.
Yeah.
Emilio, are you familiar with her music at all?
I am not.
She's really great. I think you'd be into her. Do you know Angel Olsen?
I don't.
That's okay. Similar vibe.
Sharon Van Etten, I believe, wrote and performed the song at the end of Past Lives. And that didn't get a nomination for original song this year.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would have been really happy with that as a nomination because I love her. I mean, I can't say I'm familiar with the song "The Fire Inside" from the Flamin' Hot movie. I've not listened to that.
But then there's 2 Barbie songs on the list.
2 Barbie songs.
There's one from Killers of the Flower Moon, one from American Symphony. I mean, I haven't seen American Symphony. I would have to hear the one from Killers of the Flower Moon again. But honestly, just given what, that movie and that song stands for, I think that might be my pick for best original song.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be something if I'm Just Kin won, though?
It would be something, yeah.
I mean, but I don't know that I have a pick from this because I'd have to listen to all 5 of these songs again. But I think that What Was I Made For will win. And I don't even think it's close. I mean, I think we should just maybe rename this category the Billie Eilish original song category because I think she's just going to kind of win all the time now.
Yeah, this won't be her first.
Yeah, or last.
Or last, yeah. Okay, so we don't have time to go through everything here, but I definitely want to say something about Best Actress.
Yeah, I feel like we gotta address the elephant in the room.
Yeah. So Best Actress, I mean, okay, a lot of good performances on this list. They're all great, but like my heart is totally set on Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I wanted to ask, I guess you, about the decision to put her in Best Actress rather than Best Supporting.
I agree with that. I think it's totally a lead role, and she's, in terms of prominence in the film, I mean, she's right up there with DiCaprio and De Niro.
But De Niro's supporting.
But De Niro is supporting, and I do agree with that because, I mean, it really is a secondary role to DiCaprio's. But that, like when you think about the planes that the characters are on, I mean, that Molly Burkhart, who's Lily Gladstone's character, is really on the same sort of plane of the hierarchy in that movie as Ernest Burkhart.
I agree, and I think that is the valid argument for her in lead rather than supporting. But she is also incapacitated for much of the film.
Yeah.
And that was like one of my small qualms with the movie is that I wanted more of Molly, and she's like extremely sick through much of it, which obviously takes a solid performer to be able to pull off the like stages of her sickness. It's a really, really excellent performance, and whatever category she's put in, she's my pick to win. But I expected them to put her in supporting. I do support her in Best Actress. I know that she's the first Indigenous woman in this category.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have been the case in supporting as well, maybe. I'm not sure offhand.
I am confident it would have been.
Yeah.
I think, let me just check. Yeah, the first Indigenous American actress to be nominated for an Oscar, period.
Yeah. So no matter what category she's in, she's making history, and I support that.
Yes.
I was surprised to see her in lead rather than supporting is the only thing.
She won the Golden Globe. She could win the Oscar.
I think she will win the Oscar. Yeah. I think she will win, and I think she's my pick.
Yeah, same. Although, I mean, one snub who I was kind of surprised to see not make the Best Actress cut was Kaylee Spaney in Priscilla. Mm-hmm. She's so good in that movie. I didn't think she was going to win the award, but I do think that's a movie that was released very much in awards season, and I was surprised to see that got no nominations either.
Yeah, that's interesting that I wonder if it's just like the proximity of Elvis. Like it's just too soon after Elvis to nominate another Elvis movie.
Yeah.
Even though it's not an Elvis movie, it's a Priscilla movie, but you get my point.
Right.
I mean, I haven't seen Priscilla, but I've heard good things about that performance, so I think that would have been good. I mentioned to you off mic yesterday that I recently watched The Color Purple and actually think that Fantasia is really, really excellent in that. Mm-hmm. That's a movie that I have like conflicting feelings about. Like it didn't necessarily grab me right from the beginning, but I enjoyed it by the end, and overall think it's a solidly done film. I think she is so good in that. She's really, really excellent. So I actually would put her somewhere. I wouldn't pick her to win, but I would have put her in this category. I haven't seen Naiad, but I feel like you could maybe bump Annette Bening.
Yeah.
I honestly I'm sorry to Carey Mulligan. I think she's good in Maestro. I think Fantasia is better in Color Purple than Carey Mulligan is in Maestro. But there are some really, really great Carey Mulligan scenes in Maestro.
Yeah.
So I think this is still a deserving nomination.
Yeah.
But I think there are others that I would have put in in her place specifically. But again, Annette Bening is probably my one to bump, but I haven't actually seen that movie, so that doesn't seem totally fair.
Yeah, I haven't seen Naiad yet. Although, funny enough, I mean, I thought that Annette Bening was bumped in a year that she totally deserved the nomination and even the win for 20th Century Women. Mm-hmm. I thought that's a really good performance from her. That was a year when the person who won Best Actress, funny enough, is someone on the list this year, and that was Emma Stone for La La Land.
Yeah.
And gotta say,
again, she's so good in Poor Things.
She's amazing in Poor Things, but I think that if they had given her an Oscar for Poor Things over La La Land, that would have been a better move.
If Lily Gladstone was in supporting, Emma Stone would be my pick for Best Actress.
I think I agree. Yeah.
She has to portray an entire maturity cycle of one character, from literally baby brain all the way up through adulthood, and there is that is the definition of character development, all smushed into this movie.
Yes, but Emma Stone has an Oscar already.
Yeah. Funny enough, is that how we give awards? We say you already have one, we're moving on to the next person.
Not always.
Sorry, Meryl Streep.
Not with Mahershala Ali in Green Book.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that win was 2 years after his first win, and the Academy does that sometimes, where it's kind of it's better if they give it 20 years between wins if they're gonna award someone more than once. But then when they do it just back-to-back years, with Tom Hanks or someone like that, it's okay, we get it.
I'm just curious as to what would happen if we Men in Black'd, memory wiped people when it came
neuralized?
Thank you. Yeah. If we neuralized people's memories of who has previously won and then had them vote, how often would it be different? How often does that play a factor in an Academy member's vote, and that somebody has won or has not won before?
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Should it? I think we don't have time to get into that question, but it's a question that I'm throwing out there for everyone to ponder.
And it's both a quantifiable trend and yet something that feels kind of random too.
Yeah.
Well, just kind of a fun thing to finish this off. I mean, we were talking about Poor Things, and I just in thinking about May, December, it's I just kept thinking to myself, and I'd love to see the sequel June, January. But then thinking about that title, if you're thinking about a movie called June, January, what kind of weirdly works with that?
What?
Poor Things.
Okay.
If you think about what happens to the situation that Bella Baxter comes from there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. And then to expand upon that point, okay, this is something we can all do. Okay, May, December, June, January. Let's come up with some opposite names here.
Huh.
Come on, okay, I've got another one. Dichotomy of Arise.
This is too much of a brain exercise. I mean, Past Lives is just Future Deaths.
Future Deaths, yeah. Final Forms.
German nonfiction.
A Canadian memoir.
Life preservers of the...
I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, life preservers of the ashy planet.
Yeah. The Quadrant of Boredom.
Sorry. Person who sucks at music.
Yeah, I was like, what's the opposite of Maestro?
I know, I'm sitting here
it's that guy who Terrence Fletcher kicks out of the band at the beginning of Whiplash.
Exactly,
yeah. Or what's the...
Although he kicks him out and he was in tune.
He was in tune.
He just wasn't confident enough about his own ability.
That's true.
And that was what he was upset about.
Who's the really bad opera singer that Meryl Streep does that one movie?
Gosh.
Oh my God.
Florence
Foster
Foster Jenkins. Thank you.
Haven't seen it.
That would be a good one right there.
Figured this would be a good semi-brainless thing to do at the end. Also, I just had a lot of this rattling through my head, and I just needed to let it out somewhere.
Yeah, fair enough.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Cool. Wonderful, guys. Thank you for doing that. I think I have my work cut out for me. So
this was a lovely talk.
It's been a great year for movies, guys.
It has. 2023 was a stellar year for movies, really filled to the brim with great things. Just when you think you've seen it all, you have not.
You have 25 more movies to get through.
25, yeah.
All right, guys. It's getting late. And we'll be back here in another week. We'll do some more.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Thanks so much.